As you guys know, the way we DM in the lab, it is very advanced and it's super far ahead of everyone else in the market, right? So understanding these deeper psychological concepts at the highest level or at a solid level even, that's where you guys get a massive competitive advantage when DMing on LinkedIn and signing clients. The cool thing is you could use this to DM people to sign clients. On LinkedIn, you could use this in cold email. You could use this on Twitter DMs, Instagram DMs potentially, which I've never done those, Facebook DM stuff, and also just life in general. These are great skills to have. So what we're going to do, very high level stuff. I'm going to try to take it and break it down in a way that is easily digestible. I'm going to do my best today to speak a little bit slower than I usually do. So I'm going to open up my DM vault here. So these are 30 full length conversations that we had on LinkedIn and that resulted in calls. Okay. So let me start breaking this down, and I'm going to start off with a conversation with Nam. So Nam, one of our agency clients we had, he has a firm that helps digital health founders raise capital. He charges $15,000 as a setup fee and 40, like he has a really solid deal structure here. Let me just let everyone in. Cool. So let me pop this open. Anyways, you guys can see what I did here, right? So I blurred some stuff out here, like the prospect's last name, Nam's name as well, company name. This is the initial DM, right? Off of a cold connection request that was accepted. Hey, Mokum, company name looks like it's doing some pretty cool things. Okay. So just that, you start off with a personalized greeting. Hey, first name, right? Keep it simple. Don't say hello, first name. Don't say dear sir. Hey, first name. That's it. Okay. Easy. Send the message. You could say, hey, first name. You could say, what's up, first name. You could say, hey, how's it going, first name. Use their first name and just keep it casual and low key. All right. Simple. Company name looks like it's doing some pretty cool things. What this is, right? And then I couple that with automating billing processes is a solid concept. You read this as a prospect and you're like, okay, this person did some research, right? They know a little bit about what I do and they're grounded. They're not over eager. They're not trying to sell something. They're not super excited at this, right? But they're also giving me a compliment. So that builds trust. Could we have gotten more specific here? Sure, but we already get more specific in the next phrase. So here's why I kind of use this, the first three sentences, to get him to be like, okay, this is a real person. They've done a little bit of research. I trust him a little bit, right? He's grounded. He's high status. Now I'm open to reading the rest of the DM. All right. So all this is indirect. These three sentences are indirect, but they're just as important as the direct stuff. Now, the direct questions here, you need these. Ian, you and I spoke recently, or one of my clients in the lab or in the league, my coaching program, about always adding questions to your initial DMs, right? Adding at least one question that's going to directly lead you to the sale eventually. So this is where I do that, right? If I just started with this, it wouldn't have made sense. It wouldn't have had a good flow, and it would have seemed contrived and fake. And like I'm asking him this question just so I can get him to answer, just so I could get him on a call. But the fact that I sandwiched it between these three DMs and these two, you're in San Fran, right? San Francisco. The Asian food there is insane. You got to check out Mr. Juice on Waverly Street. You'll love it. I sandwiched these in between, boom, boom, middle. Right? Get the two pieces of bread right here, and you get the peanut butter and you get the jelly. You need the peanut butter and jelly, but you can't just eat peanut butter and jelly by themselves. Think about it like that. You can't just eat peanut. It's gross. I mean, if you want to do that, you can do, go ahead. I'm not going to judge you for it. But, peanut butter jelly sandwich. You guys raised $2.7 million 2 years ago, right? Last seed round. Have your next round planned out? This is a conversational angle that we take. You see how low key this is. It's not a hard pitch. We're not pushing for the sale. We're asking him a question to start gaining clarity on his situation. And we're starting our first line of questioning here is rather ambiguous. It can be pretty damn ambiguous, or it can be kind of ambiguous. This is a little more specific, right? But it's still pretty ambiguous. It's a 6 out of 10 level of ambiguous here, I would say, right? But it's a little specific. But then boom, we're showing him that we did research. You guys raised $2.7 million 2 years ago, right? Your last seed round. I could have just said this. You guys raised $2.7 million recently, right? But no, I want to get super specific. $2.7 million 2 years ago, right? Last seed round. It could have been a series A, B, C seed round. We show that we did research on the prospect. This is a beautiful thing to show that you're not just reaching out to everyone willy-nilly. You're reaching out because you genuinely believe that you could potentially help this person, this specific person. Have your next round planned out. NAM helps digital health companies raise capital. So you see how we angle the conversation here in the initial DMs So we're able to now go back and forth and gain more and more clarity on their situation, trying their pain points, gaining more clarity. Once he answers the questions, I ask him a follow-up question to get more specific, right? And then eventually we're going to get to a point where we can make a judgment on if we are confident that we could help this person or not. If we are confident, then we go ahead and pitch a call. If we are not, then we just don't pitch a call, right? That's perfectly fine. And that happened, right? Any questions on this before we move forward? I'm going to stop my screen share real quick. I'll give you guys like 20 seconds while I'm taking a drink of this water. I want to break these down for you guys slowly so you understand the psych behind it all.
I'll ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is your thought process in coming up? Because you said something interesting. You said the question you come up with typically, has to do with what you ultimately want to sell them. So what is your thought process in coming up with those initial questions that you established?
Great question. My initial thought process is everyone's different. It can't be super specific. It can't seem salesy. Like, for example, for my LinkedIn client acquisition offer, if I DM someone cold and I'm like, are you getting clients on LinkedIn right now? That could be perceived as sales. But the cool thing is all of the bread, if you call it the bread, right? The things above and below the questions, they soften up your questions. So even if I ask a rather salesy question, if I put it in between what I put it in between in my initial DMs, it's going to significantly soften it up. And now your prospects are going to be way more receptive to answer. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is you have in mind how you can help your prospect. Okay, let's say I do email marketing for coaches, right? Maybe I ask them, and I'm like, oh, nice. You have 9,000 followers, 9,000 subs on your newsletter. Do you make any money off that? Or do you do any sales off that? Right? Have one like main angle. For example, I do like LinkedIn client acquisition. I could talk about their content. I could talk about their profile potentially. I could talk about DMs, right? Have maybe 2, 3, 4 sub angles. You have LinkedIn client acquisition, boom, profile, content, DMs. Okay, now I have a question I could ask about profile. Now I have a question I could ask about content. Now I have a question I could ask about DMs. And you could phrase it a million different ways, but it's not about how you phrase it. It's more about what you're conveying. So just keep that in mind. Does that make sense, Guillermo?
Yeah, that makes sense. Basically, any not tangential, but thing that would lead to that main thing, that how you have that hierarchy of what you do, but then the things that make that up. And you can touch on pull on any one of those strings that eventually leads you to. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, and you want to do that, And for example, I had a client, Terrence. He was like an agency coach, and he was just like hey, I'll help you scale your agency type of guy. He's really good at what he does. So I had him. I was doing DMs on behalf of Terrence. He was my agency client, and now he's actually a consulting coaching client of mine. But basically, we were DMing off his profile, and we're like, hey, is company name just you, or do you have a team? And that worked really well. So we were just using that, and that's really ambiguous, right? Think about it like this too. The more ambiguous it is, the less salesy it comes off as. It's like, is company name just you, or do you have a team? Like, that's like not salesy at all, but it's very ambiguous, right? So the more specific it is, the more salesy it can come off as. But if you're sandwiching it in between other great things in your DMs to build trust up, to show detachment from sale, to build a connection, find commonalities, yada, 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 you can ask a more specific question, and that's okay. And then the more specific question you ask, the quicker it can potentially lead you to the sale, because you start off ambiguous and then you get less ambiguous and less and less and less and less as you gain clarity with follow-up questions, right? You're getting deeper and deeper into their situation. But if you start off at a 6, 7 out of 10 in terms of specificity, there's less work you have to do to really uncover their pain.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So of course, dude, great question. And that's why you guys have the lab as well. Like, feel free to jump in there and be like, hey, Ty, I have these like 3 questions that I want to ask my prospects in my initial DM. I'll give you guys my thoughts on it. Aman, what's up, man? You have a question?
Hey, Ty, just wanted to ask you, in the example that you showed me that, you had this insider information that, they might be planning to raise the next round. But in cases where you don't have complete information about the client, or you're not able to get the information out of their profile or out of their company's profile, how do you still make the message much more relevant?
Great question, Aman. In that example, I'll just share my screen again. I actually didn't have any info that they were going to plan them. I asked them if they have their next round planned out, right? So I know they raised around $2.7 million 2 years ago, a round of $2.7 million. I didn't have any info in terms of like if they're planning their next round. That's exactly like why I asked them that, because I'm trying to gain clarity, right? And what that does, like, think about this. No, we're not planning our next round. Okay, let's stay in touch. And, there's no point to really talk further because at this moment, like, Nam can't help him. But if it's like, yeah, I am planning my next round out, it's like this question is not salesy at all, but it gives us a really good like it's a really great disqualifier. If they're planning the next round out, okay, cool. Let's continue the conversation. If they're not, okay, let's put it off, right? They're not going to be qualified. What do you mean specifically in terms of like having info about people? Because the more you do this, the better you get. You're going to be able to take really small things that most people would not even notice and talk about those. So it's really just a numbers game. And just like conscious execution, right? Meaning like, the techniques and the tactics and what you're trying to convey and what builds trust, right? And what your prospect is looking for you to convey yourself as. And then you're able to have conversations, like conscious conversations where you're doing that, but also you could reflect and go back into your conversations and see what you did right and see what you could improve.
Got you. The reason why I asked you that was, I've had a couple of conversations in the past few weeks where, people have directly, even without me telling them about what I do or what I ask, they already know that, I'm the sales guy maybe, and I'm coming them to, pitch a product or maybe pitch a service. So they get very productive about it from the first few messages itself, despite me being completely irrelevant about what I do. They just get the feel that, he's going to, pitch product maybe a few messages down the line. So just wanted to, know.
Yeah, totally get that. That makes sense. If you DM like this, that maybe happens 1 to 5% of the time. In terms of like someone directly communicating that, right? Obviously, if someone doesn't reply, they could think that. But if you're DMing like this, 35% reply rate, book like 1 out of 10 conversations that you start on a call. You just joined the lab. I don't know what your other DMs look like, but yeah, a lot of people, like if I go to my DM inbox right now, 95% look like straight pitches and I just ignore it. So that could very well be the case where yours looks like a pitch and it gets ignored or it gets like called out per se, like relatively frequently. But if you're DMing like this, like you tell me, do you see how this comes off? Does it come off as pitchy to you or no? And is this different from the DMs that you're sending, the initial DMs?
Absolutely, they're completely different.
So your initial DMs like that you used to send, how are they different than these?
So I would initially just maybe look at their profile or look at the content that they have posted, or if they haven't posted any content, I would look at the about me section or the experience section. And for example, if someone has changed multiple roles in the experience sections, I would just ask them, what led them to leave this particular role and join this role, or maybe pick specific things from the about me section and ask them that. But yeah, I think that's much more vague and ambiguous as compared to what you're doing.
Yeah, man. So I'm glad you're in the lab. I'm glad you're in here. This is going to be great for you. There's a way to do this at a really, really high level, and that's exactly what we're. So what I would do if I were you, I would keep coming to the calls every week. I would really go through the content even multiple times, and then make sure you use like the chat functions to reach out to me to get my feedback on stuff. And then you just joined in the past couple of days, so you'll see like after a few weeks. You learn stuff, you implement it, you'll start doing a lot better. Your results, you're going to get a higher reply rate. You're going to start booking.
Thanks,
cool. Sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, great questions here, guys. Yeah, Andrew, you said, I feel like I go through the micro strategies once a week still. Like, yes, those are so good. And you know what those are good for? Those are good for, okay, I got the big picture, Ty. You want to, detach and okay, great. And I've started to DM, I DM 10, 5, 10, 15, 20 people a day. Cool. Watch like 3 to 5 micro strategies a week and make those or 1 or 2 or whatever makes sense for you, and consciously set that intention of applying that for that week, right? I was a music producer when I was 14 to 18 years old. What music production is it's learning dozens and dozens of different skill sets, right? You have compression, you have EQ, you have how to do reverb, you have delay, you have arrangement, you have synthesis, you have all these, you have melodies, you have music theory, all these different skill sets. Okay, cool. I have this foundation of skill. Now I'm making my beats, and now I really learned synthesis at the highest level. So now I bring that into the fold of my skill set, right? Now I learn music theory at a high level. Boom. Now I'm making melodies that are more intricate, that are more complex and robust, but still very musical. Now I bring that into my skill set, bring that into the fold. So it's the same type of thing with this. You have this foundational level skill set that you learn. Oh, now I'm learning how to convey spontaneity at a high level. Now I'm learning how to detach from the sale, or now I'm learning how to have like very casual language while maintaining sophistication and competence, right? Or I'm learning how to use what do you mean phrases. Boom. So you have this skill set that you learn, and now you're just incorporating more little things into the fold as you go. It's a really good way of thinking about it. And Andrew, I feel like that's how you're thinking about at the moment with what you, yeah.
To me, it feels like there's always like a lull in like the DM, right? Like I've got the beginning thing down super easy. Like I understand that to like a high level now, I feel like, but it's like the progression of the conversation is where I feel like I have to like constantly like re-up looking at the micro strategies.
Got you. That makes a lot of sense because converting a reply into a book call is significantly more robust than the initial DM. The initial DMs, you could have someone who's average IQ do these, right? Even below average IQ, but not by much, right? Not by much. Don't get a 60 IQ doing that. These DMs will look very different. Okay, but you can have someone average IQ do this and they'll learn and they'll train and they'll get these right. They'll get these 85, 90% of the way there within a week or two. But how to handle a reply and get a reply booked into a call with proper frame, that's significantly more robust. I wouldn't have someone average IQ doing that. I would have someone that has solid charisma, emotional EQ, right? Emotional quotient, and is rather intelligent. You don't need to be absolute genius. Albert Einstein, honestly, Albert Einstein would suck it. He just doesn't have this swag, or maybe he does. If his LinkedIn said Albert Einstein, I'm sure people would reply to whatever he said. But converting a reply into a call that's framed properly, that's like a very intricate art. Let me move on. You see how I'm talking to him. This target market, digital health company founders that have raised millions of dollars. This is not a $10,000 a month, 18-year-old agency owner with broccoli hair. Okay, this is like a real legit market with investors. Companies raised millions, right? Legit market, rather high-end market. But you see how I'm speaking to him. You're in San Fran. The Asian food there is insane. You got to check out Mr. Juice on Waverly Street. You'll love it. So when people come to me and they're like, hey, Ty, should I do more formal? My market's sophisticated. You have a sophisticated market, right? Should I be a formal? Hello, sir. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance here, sir. Like, probably not. I'm not like LMAO, bro. Ha ha ha. That's crazy. But I am pretty damn casual. And the fact, like, I'm casual, but you read this and you're not like, oh, Nam is, the guy we're BMing on behalf of. You're not like, Nam is unintelligent. That doesn't even cross through your head. You're just like, oh, Nam is a cool, personable, charismatic guy, right? You want to know who you are? Hey, am I a 45-year-old man talking to a 55-year-old person on LinkedIn? Like, you got to know who you are. You got to know who your prospects are. Nam is like 27, my age. Mokum is like, 30, 35, right? So just know who you are, know who your prospects are, but you don't have to make this some formal thing. And if the thing is, at this point, I don't do this, but everyone knew. And Mo, I see you raising your hand. I'm gonna have you up here in a second. If you speak out your DMs. That's what I would tell you. Speak your DMs. If you wouldn't say it to someone in a conversation, don't say it in a DM. So if I was like, hello, Mokum, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. What can I say here? How are you guys getting clients? I really enjoyed your blog post on automating billing processes. It was absolutely lovely. Right? Like, I don't talk like, but I do talk like, hey, Mokum, company name looks like it's doing some pretty cool things. Automated billing processes is a solid concept. You guys raised $2.7 million 2 years ago, right? Last seed round. You're in San Fran. The Asian food there is insane. You got to check out Mr. Juice. You'll love it. Okay. Talk your DMs until you get, I've been doing this for 13 years, so I don't have to do that. But and your DMs are going to get way more conversational, which is very important. Mo, go ahead and unmute yourself. You have a question? You have a comment?
Yeah. Hey, Ty.
What's up?
So I just wanted to ask, don't you think that if we talk about like restaurants and stuff, don't you think it makes it a bit obvious that we're trying to pitch something? I mean, I saw in one of your videos, a guy told you that, tell me, what do you have to pitch? I remember that. I don't know if maybe like over talking about restaurants makes it a bit obvious. Don't you think? How do we draw the line?
I don't see that at all.
Okay.
I'm wondering, but I'm open. I mean, why do you think talking about restaurants makes it look pitchy? Or do you even think that? Or are you just wondering if it does?
I kind of do, because I mean, why am I so interested in his personal life? Why do I care if he tries this good restaurant, if you know what I mean? From his perspective, I mean, he'd think, why do I suddenly, a stranger, care about him? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, that's a valid way of looking at it, but I would tell you that's having that belief is going to lead you astray.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. So the thing is, showing genuine care about the prospect is incredibly important. Any kind of thoughts that get you away from doing that, it really doesn't matter what kind of thoughts, right? Whether it's like, belief, a limiting belief, or like any kind of fear or guilt or shame. I don't know why you'd have that talking about restaurants. But anything getting it or just showing genuine care, or maybe it's selfishness too, right? Anything getting in the way of you showing genuine care for your prospect, you got to just totally make sure to like let go of, right?
Yeah.
A big piece of booking calls on LinkedIn is showing genuine care for your prospect. And you do that by adding value, foreshadowing value, giving authority building observations, foreshadowing introductions, right? So this is a way of doing that. Hey, check out Mr. Juice on Waverly Street. We're like talking about a really good restaurant. So this is a way of leading with value.
Okay. I do agree with your point that we should show genuine care, but I mean, it's where I can add value specifically, but maybe, I don't know, I fear that it would appear fake, if you know what I mean. But if you don't think so,
it might appear fake. It might appear fake to 5-10% of prospects, right? I've DM'd so much over the past 13 years, thousands and tens, and maybe over 100,000, DM conversations, booked thousands of calls. This works really well.
Amazing.
For sure.
Thanks,
but yeah, also like you're mentioning specific, great question, by the way. I appreciate you like kind of challenging what I have to say, which I think that's a wonderful thing, right? And if you catch something that's actually like valid, like I'm super open. But I would just make sure, since we're going to be working together in a more like intimate way, also like, okay, so let me tell you this. I genuinely give a fuck about people that I don't know. And also a piece of that is I don't really care that much about making money. Like, so, I mean, I do, but I really don't. I'm detached. Like if I don't book a sales call, I'm not like mad. If I don't sign a client, I'm not mad, right? If someone leaves the lab, I'm not, it's like, I get it. Totally get it. So me just being clean about money now gives me the ability to actually lead with value and not have any negative energy inside me that would taint my viewpoint of doing that, like making it weird potentially or making it corny. I'm not saying that's what's going on with you at all, but I'm saying that if I did have some kind of attachment to money, right? If I genuinely didn't give a shit about my prospects, if I was just selfish, whatever, it would feel weird doing that, right? And that's potentially a place that could come from for someone. But if you're like clear with that, like a giving person, I love people, you know what I mean? Like doing this, you might have other limiting beliefs come in. You might have other judgments that you make on it, but at least one of the ways that you could potentially judge it is gone.
Right. So
there could be so much going on within us, Right.
I think it might stem from the cultural difference, because most of my lead generation experience has been in the Middle East. And in the Middle East, it's mostly like, just get straight to the point. Like, don't mess around. Maybe it's
for sure. Well, if you do that on LinkedIn, it's not going to work, like these hard pitches, right? But there is a good point that you're making, and I want to move on. So let me just make this talk about this last concept.
Right.
There is a point where you're doing too much. And that point, we talked about this. It was either in the last call or the call before that, where you're creating custom videos for prospects that are 10 minutes long, or you're sending 5 voice messages in a row that are like a minute long each, or you're offering them to do free work, right? There's a point in time where like, dude, why are you investing all this in a prospect they didn't pay you or they haven't even replied to? But think about it like this. If I'm DMing a prospect and I genuinely care about them at a high level and I have massive fucking integrity, I'm not going to pitch them on something that they don't need. That's not going to help them. And I was in San Francisco and I know Mr. Juice off the top of my head, and I'm DMing him randomly, just genuinely and authentically. And then I asked him, have your next round planned out? And I'm like, oh, this guy's from San Francisco. I was just at Mr. Juice the other week and it was an amazing. Let me tell him about Mr. Juice.
Yeah,
right.
Very genuine.
That's it's very. It looks like it just randomly pops up in your head, and it's authentic. And it's not like you had to do 30 minutes of research to find a good restaurant with the most perfect dumplings or whatever. It just randomly popped in your head, and that's how I want you to add value, right? Endorse their top 2 skills. Just endorse your top 2 skills. By the way, it took you 2 seconds, right? Just looks like you're a good person. Oh, check out Mr. Juice. Took you 2 seconds to write that. Oh, send them an asset, right? Not in the initial DMs, but when the conversation keeps going and they demonstrate at least somewhat of a pain point. It just took you 2 seconds to send them the link. You're not creating the asset specifically for them. You create the asset once, you distribute it, you send it to a bunch of different prospects.
Yeah.
Okay?
I want to
so
ask
these little,
sorry. Final question. It's about endorsement. So I didn't really get why you do that? Like how do
It's
you
a
think?
very low-hanging fruit way of leading with value. The more endorsements someone has on their skill set, the more social proof they have on their profile. Does that make sense? Because if you and I say the same thing to everyone I do a profile audit for, but if your top two skills are aligned with what prospects look for you to be good at, and they're both at 99 plus, your prospects are going to go on your profile and they're going to be like, oh shit, 100 or more people, or 99 or more people believe that Mo is really damn good at the top two things I'm looking for him to be really damn good at. He's really damn good at that. 100 people said so. If 2 people said so, if 5 people said so, if 10 people said so, I don't know.
So you
Might be good at it. You might, but if 100 people plus said so, you're for sure good at it. So it builds trust, right? So you going and endorsing their skill set, it conveys genuine care and it conveys that friendly helper mindset of, I just genuinely want to help you out. And if the next logical step of me helping you out is to book a call, if the next logical step on the call is to sign you as a client and have you pay me money, cool, let's do it. But if any of those situations don't make sense, I realize that I cannot help you or I'm not confident in doing that, great. The sales process can stop here and I'm totally fine. So that's what you want to convey throughout your whole sales process, and adding value in the form of restaurant recommendations, things to do, endorsing skills and mentioning it, adding value, foreshadowing hyper valuable intros. All of those start your conversation off and start the relationship off with that frame. You're setting proper frame.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Fantastic. Of course. Great question. Excited to be working together.
Same here.
Great. So 40 minutes on this. I was like, hey, I want to do this call with you guys. I want to give you, 5 different conversations. We just spent 40 minutes on one message here. Great. But it needed to be done. But let's move on. He said, super busy right now, but appreciate your outreach. Send me another message next week. Side note, do you know any good healthcare marketers, people who have experience and expertise, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so I didn't know anyone. My client didn't know anyone, so I was like trying to stall. If you know anyone, like this is a good opportunity for you to do someone a small favor, take you a minute to like make an email and introduce them to someone, okay? And then also what you can do is have a referral partnership with someone and be like, dude, do you mind if I send you people from time to time that if they sign with you, just give me like 10, 15% ongoing commission or one time. I have these partnerships set up, right? And what I do, this guy just straight up asked for it. Cool. But a lot of times I foreshadow intros. There's a micro strategy on that in the content in the lab, right? I'm not going to go super in depth into that, but it's good to know like 3-4 people that are really damn good at what they do and that could provide services to the same niche that you work in. So you could foreshadow and make introduction. And then you could also make money off that, which is great. And you're doing both people a favor and you're leading with value. Cool. I was trying to stall here with the do you know anyone thing, because we didn't know anyone. And I asked my client, he didn't know any. What I did here, hey, Mokum, sounds good, my friend. Okay, super busy right now, but appreciate your outreach. Send me another message next week. The first thing you want to do here is show your prospect whenever you get a reply that does not align with where you would like the conversation to go. Oh, I'm busy. Send me a message next week. Oh, not right now, in 3 months. What else? A lot of different things can happen where they don't really move you closer to a call directly. The first thing you want to do is show your prospect that it did not affect you emotionally at all. Before I get it in, show him, hey, I'm super fucking grounded, right? And saying something like, Ian, you and I went over this. It gets so subtle. So if I was like, no problem, to what he said here, that could be perceived as like I was emotionally affected at least a little bit. I want your prospects to have a 0% chance that they believe that you were emotionally affected by what they said. 0%. Saying, hey, no problem. That sounds like you were maybe a little bit hurt, but it could sound potentially. Rather than, hey, Mokum, sounds good, my friend. There's no way someone reads that and they're like, hey, this person, the conversation didn't go his way. Now he's like, it emotionally affected him, maybe even a little bit. There's no way someone reads that and thinks, maybe 1 in a million. Okay, cool. Sounds good, my friend. Right? Let me see. I should know someone really good in terms of like, hey, he asked me if I know anyone. I should know someone really good. Got a couple in mind. So I was trying to show him that I'm well connected in the industry here while stalling. Okay. You want to connect with them. Here's what the magic I did was to potentially help company name with some marketing stuff, something specific. Let me know so I can make the intro to the best person. Okay, let me ask you guys, what do you think I was doing when I did this? You want to connect with them to potentially help company name with some marketing stuff, something specific. Let me know if anyone wants to unmute themselves, tell me what I was doing.
I'm covering pain points.
Who's talking right now?
Mo.
This is not this secondary, tertiary reason was to uncover pain points. What was the main reason? Feel free,
Show
guys.
him how well connected you are.
To show him how well connected I am, maybe, but I'm looking for something.
Or that you're legitimately trying to help by figuring out what exactly.
Yes, I'm showing him that I legitimately give a shit about helping because I'm gaining clarity on who he wants an intro. I do this for free. I even want to help you if I'm not going to make any money. Wow. This person is you are building massive trust with this person at this moment. This is an indirect way of getting closer to the sale, but it's really like right over the line of indirect. It's super fucking direct, but I guess you could describe it as, but this is how you get closer to the sale. Oh, there's a situation here where someone's asking for help. I'm not going to get paid from it, but he asked me a question and I'm genuinely give so much of a fuck about helping this person. Even if I don't make money, I'm gaining clarity. And I'm like, let me know so I can make the intro to the best person. That shows massive care for your prospects. This guy just gave me a layup to the sale. He gave me an opportunity to show genuine care at the highest level. Okay. I could have just said this. I should know someone really good, got a couple of people in mind. That's okay. You could just say that. You could just leave it there. But I had this opportunity. Let me gain massive clarity on something that's unrelated to the sale to help you in the best way, even though I'm not getting. Boom. And that's really what helped this book to call. Great stuff. So thank you. Yeah, we need to hire a smart marketing ops person over the next month or two, someone who's got experience marketing to healthcare providers. Ideally, this person who I could pose questions to. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Let me dip into my Rolodex and get in touch with you, my friend. I'm just stalling here because I don't know. And my client, I asked him, he doesn't know anyone. I'm just like, let me just stall and let me just show you that I give a massive fuck with how you and I'll do it sometime later. And just get closer to the sale. Like, thank you. We're working on fundraising a new round right now. Just FYI. Aha. Okay. So if I didn't do this, we'd never be talking about this. I never book a call with him if I didn't do all this. Right. I showed him that I genuinely want to help him, even when I'm not going to get any kind of benefit. So now when I do get a benefit from something that I can help a prospect with, he knows that I'm genuinely trying to help, primarily because I'm trying to help, secondarily because I'm getting benefit from. And I'm not going to try to help him with something that he can't benefit from, right? That is so important, guys. That is so important. I'm always saying things in the DMs like, if you want me to do that, or if it could help you, or was thinking of ways to help you. Gaining clarity is a form of showing genuine care for your prospect as well. Because think about it. If you're pitching a call right away, you didn't gain any clarity on a prospect situation, you're not showing them any care. You're like, I'll pitch to anyone. I don't give a fuck about you. I just want to make money from you. Whereas I'm not going to pitch you until I know I can help, right? Going through that process and asking questions and gaining clarity, finding pain points, that's also showing genuine care. We're working on fundraising a new round right now. Just FYI, happy to hear more about what you do in the next few weeks. Could be solid timing then. We'll be in touch on that as well. Talk soon. I could have just went for the sale here. I could have just been like, oh yeah, whatever. Pitch the call. Let me let this sit, man. He said here, send me another message next week. I'm not eager to get the sale, right? Let me just let that sit and just be super grounded here and not show any excitement. Could be solid timing then. Not like, yeah, would love to show you what I'm working on. This could be an amazing fit. Could be solid timing then. We'll be in touch on that as well. Talk soon. That's it. And that's how I would say it. That's how what my tonality would come off as if I was verbalized. Sounds good. Okay. Sometime in the next couple of days, I'll message him back. Welcome. Hey, super casual. I love doing the first name thing and then, hey, still seeing who it makes sense to introduce you to. Wanted to update you, right? So we're first, hey, I'm showing him that I'm still trying to take care of him. Check this out in the meantime. Sent him an asset, sent him a case study, how we raised $30 million for a company. Thanks, man. Appreciate the update. This conversation happened quick, right? So this should be part of this, but he messaged us back quick. Just got 30 million committed for a telemed company over the summer into early fall. I'm open to doing a call sometime. I have some availability later this week. Want to make that happen. Available tomorrow at 10:30. Does that work? Boom. Let me see. Let's do this. Book with me here. He ended up booking. Okay. Overall, this is like fucking incredible conversation to study. And I'm really glad we went over this specific conversation, right? So it's just so perfectly executed. It's just everything was perfect, genuinely. If he didn't book a call, it still would have been perfectly executed, right? It doesn't matter that he booked a call or didn't. Over the course of time, on a trend, 50, 100, 200, 500 conversations, you handle conversations really well. Some you do perfectly, they don't book. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. Some conversations you book, it doesn't mean you didn't do it, or it doesn't mean you couldn't improve it. Cool. So you see how low key this pitch is. Check this out in the meantime. Just got 30 million committed for a telemed company over the summer into early fall. I'm open to doing a call some, right? I'm open to doing a call some. I'm willing to doing a call sometime. I'm willing to do a call. I'm willing to jump on a call. I'm willing to blah, blah, blah. Using this kind of language instead of I'd love to, or do you want to do a call sometime? Yeah, I'm open to doing a call, I guess. Don't say that. Don't say that. Voice message someone in that tonality, right? But that's kind of like what I'm conveying. I'm open to doing a call. Yeah, I'm willing to do a call, right? I have some availability later this week. And then just a very grounded way of like getting him to agree. Want to make that happen. Okay. We ended up booking.
Well, what was that lead magnet you sent him?
It was a case study disguised as a lead magnet. So actually, so I can pop this over. It was this. So it's literally just actually just a testimonial. Yeah.
Cool.
So 30 million committed for telemed company, intro, right? Social proof, specificity here with the situation, video, boom, book a strategy call. We had his Calendly in here. I guess he changed his link. How was that, guys? Any kind of feedback, any kind of questions, any kind of comments, any kind of takeaways, something like go over your head, something like really resonate with you. Feel free to unmute yourselves or ask me a question in the chat. By the way, these conversational breakdowns, do you find them valuable? Do you like them? Do you want to do more of them?
I was going to ask if we could do one next week. You have just a live Q&A because we only got through one convo.
Yeah, we only got through one convo, right? You've been in a bunch of our calls, the last I think 5 or 6. You're like, what would you compare the value you got from this compared to like the Q&As and some of the other stuff?
I feel like we spent a lot of time on questions in this one too, so it was kind of like more like a Q&A. Right. So that's why we didn't get through as many of them. I'd say the big thing that I really like that just because like we're getting directly to see like your combos. I think the biggest calls I've been on that have been helpful have been you giving us direct feedback on our DMs and then going through DMs. I think like those two, because like I mean that's the core of what we're doing, right? Like you could probably have an okay profile, and as long as you're DMing good, you're still getting calls, So like the core of what you teach us is DMs. So that's why I get the most value out of it, and it's probably like the thing that I would guess that most people are the most afraid of doing because it has the highest chance of rejection and fucking up.
Yeah, I totally get that. And thank you for the feedback, Andrew. That makes sense. A good reframe of rejection, I just had something in mind, is just reframe it as a misalignment. It's not a rejection, it's a misalignment. Like, for example, I'm in Portugal. I met this girl at yoga class and I asked her out on a date. She was in her car and I'm like, should I go? I'm like, yeah, let me go up to her. We talked a little bit like after class. And I go up to her and ask her out on a date. And she's like, oh, no, sorry. Like, I have a boyfriend, da, da, da. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Totally cool. Appreciate you being honest. Have a great day. That's not a rejection. That's just a misalignment, right? So she had a boyfriend. Even if she didn't, if she would have rejected me, I've gotten rejected from girls who didn't have boyfriends all the time. The more you view it as a rejection, which is not, the less motivated you'll be to do it again. So like, am I gonna let rejection in the way of me finding my wife? Fuck no. Am I gonna get rejection? Am I gonna have that have me get? Am I going to let that get in the way of me making money and signing clients? Fuck no. And a good first step to doing that, if you really have like a visceral emotional response to rejection, which I don't, I actually feel, I'm just glad I said it. Like, I'm just glad I asked her on a date. I felt fucking great, like really energized. I'm like, fuck yeah. Cause I had a little bit of fear inside me, but I'm like, let me fucking ask her out on a date. If you have an issue with that, or if you have like an emotional response, I totally get it. There's no judgment. The first thing you could do to help yourself with that is to like reframe it as a misalignment. Yeah. And it's okay in the world. And the world goes on, and it's not the end of the world. Like, yeah, don't let that get in the way of your success.
Yep. But yeah, I don't give a fuck what internet people have to say.
Yeah, literally. Literally. I used to have so many haters on Twitter like 4 years ago, and I had like a solid size account. Now, like, I still get some, and I just, it affects me maybe like, depends on the message, but maybe like 2 out of 10, 2.5 out of 10. I still get a little triggered sometimes. But I used to get like 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, because I was like a lot more insecure and I wasn't as confident like my early 20s. And it's just me working on that. And I love it now. I'm grateful for them because they give me like in rejection, it gives you an opportunity to really learn about yourself, right? So becoming actually grateful for the situation, because if you have like this emotional response to it, oh, now I have this like negative emotional response to rejection. Now I have an opportunity to learn about myself. Now I have an opportunity to grow emotionally, spiritually. So you become actually like grateful for these people, and actually you becoming grateful of these people helps you let go of the negative emotional response you could potentially have.
I had a different emotional response today that I noticed where I was like going through the messages and there wasn't any replies at one point, and I felt myself a bit like angsty about it. And yeah, I just felt that at the time.
Totally get it, dude. this we're emotional beings, and that's super okay, and it's super valid what you felt. It's just about being with your emotions. At the end of the day, this is something that I'm learning, and not running away from your emotions, and they're completely okay. But then there's a healthy way of dealing with it and sitting with it and being with it, and not letting it knock you off of taking aligned action, right? So, for example, I was like, I could see how my funniest haters are on Reddit in some LinkedIn group. I love that. Wait, show me. I love it. I think I saw something where I had like a Reddit thing about me.
Yeah, so I didn't want to derail the conversation. That's why I put it in chat so people could ask
That's
questions.
crazy. Yes, I would love to see that. That's really cool. Yeah, so where was I? I totally lost my train of thought. Can someone remind me where I was at?
Yeah, I was talking about when people haven't replied, and
Oh yeah.
felt it in
Yeah,
my
yeah,
mind.
yeah. Yeah, so sometimes I DM, let's say I send 10 DMs, I don't get a reply. I'll eventually get a reply on 10 DMs. It might take 30 minutes, an hour sometimes. Usually doesn't happen, but sometimes I've been there, and sometimes maybe I feel angry or frustrated. It's perfectly okay, right? It's good. It's good. It's you're learning about yourself. No emotional reaction is bad. Don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel ashamed about it, because then you're in this vicious loop and you're just going to keep feeling worse. But just sit with your emotions, what I've learned, and don't let it knock you off of taking aligned action. Like, that just because you didn't get a response on 10 DMs doesn't mean that this is not like an amazing fucking strategy.
Sometimes it makes me send another message, and I'm like thinking, will I ask that? Will I not? Today I like didn't send that message and just let it sit, and he ended up booking a call from that. But
There
yeah,
you go.
definitely other days I would have sent him more like rope and stuff in that space.
That's like the BTW message, right? That we want to send if we're not getting responses.
Or like rope can be any sort of like lead magnet or any result, or like, oh, by the way, yeah, you can lead into it with that just so it flows. So it's like something that came to you.
Yeah. We'll make it look authentic, right? Like, oh, by the way, or actually, it's funny. I was just thinking of how I could help you, da 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 da, or I was just randomly on your profile. Make sure it sounds like genuine and authentic. I was just randomly on your profile. Could sound potentially contrived there. But yeah, amazing call, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. Great job participating. I hope you learned a ton. Have an amazing week. I will see you guys in the lab. Talk to you next Tuesday. All right.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone. Awesome session.
Bye, man. Bye, Ty.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Absolutely.